My fire burns slowly, very slowly. You have to control your fire, or it will control you. Hola, hola. Blessings, my tribe. Palo Santo. Hi, Emma. Hi, Andre. Hi, everyone logged in. Say hi. Let me know you're here. I want to know who's my tribe. Hola. I have Egypt with me, guys. I thought he's the perfect companion of mine to speak about fear. So, this is a little owl feather. This is from the wilderness around me, my park. It's a little owl feathers. I know I can tell from the feathers that it's a baby owl. I can tell from here. I know birds, I have one. Say hi to Egypt. I've been giving too much attention to Phoenix. And Egypt hasn't gotten the camera. Well, because I can't have him together. Say hi to Egypt, please. Say hi to Egypt. Do you fear my snake? Are you scared of a snake? Are you looking at me right now? It's a snake. Just the name of it and the look of them, does it bring fear to you? Some people are terrified of snakes. How come I can just put them all around me like that? What difference is it between you, if you have fear, anyone who now fears snake, and me? How come he's not hurting me? There's nothing happening here. Hi, Eddie. Good to see you there, my baby, Egypt. So, some people are very scared of snakes, but they're not scared of dogs or cats or birds. And their bite are worse than snakes' bite. If a dog bites you, you have to actually get stitches. Their fangs and their canines are so thick and large. The snakes can be pretty large, don't get me wrong. They have very sharp vampire fangs. But they're kind of thin, and it's not going to cause as much harm as a dog's bite. And even a bird, my bird, Phoenix, I'd rather Egypt bite me than Phoenix. Birds have a really powerful beak, especially parrots. They can actually take your... he's bit me when he was growing up and he was a baby. He was out of control and he bit my lip one time and it was terrible. Like it swelled for like a whole week, blood everywhere. It's really powerful. Their bite can really put you to get some stitches. The snake, he's bit me before. I've been by snakes before a lot of times. He bit me recently, actually. It was the first time he ever bit me. I talked about it already. But I love him unconditionally, so I did not get mad at him for biting me, because that's his wild nature. And we've talked about unconditional love before, right? So I love him unconditionally. That's how you prove that you love unconditionally, because you still love him the same even though he bit you, because I know that's his nature, that's who he is. So I love him and accept him for who he is. See? Now I can kiss him. You're mad, baby? He's hungry right now, actually, guys. It would suck if he bites me here on camera. You never know. I won't be fearful of it. It'll be scary. So, what is fear? What is fear, really? So, they say fear is false evidence appearing real. So, is that what fear is? Is it a false evidence appearing real? I believe fear does exist. I believe fear is a root of your survivalism mode. It comes along with your ego. I think fear has its purpose. I think fear is there to help you survive in a situation where you are chased by a tiger, or maybe you live in the savannas of Africa and you're like just walking down, the grounds in the middle of the night, and if you see a lion coming at you, well, that's when fear comes up, because fear will bring you adrenaline in your body, and you can actually run as faster than normally you would, because that's what the adrenaline is there for. We're not supposed to live in adrenaline all the time, because that could cause illnesses. So it's there for just the moment of that. Its fear is there to help you in a situation like that. Like if, God forbid, there's a building burning and fear comes, right? Adrenaline kicks in and you're just on survivalism mode. So that's fear. That's real fear. That's what the fear should come to be about. So you're trying to survive, right? So you have to make it, you have 3 seconds or it burns down. And your fear just gets you up and you just get out and you can save yourself because the adrenaline kicks in your body. Although fear can also paralyze you. It depends on the kind of person you are. So it can paralyze you. You can freeze in fear and die right there too. So fear is an emotion. It's just an emotion. And you control it or it will control you. It's a choice. You can choose to be in fear. It is a choice. So where does fear originate from? I took a little notebook here and I wrote some notes, and this is things that my videos, everything that I say here are things that come out of my experience. I am a storyteller. So I am just sharing my journey in life and how I've transformed, because I think it's amazing the person that I was one time, that I thought I was, and who I am today. If you ever known me for a long time, you would know. So it's very inspiring to me. So I want to share it with the world so that you too can experience transformation and become this powerful being without fear of nothing. Even when I'm having a bad day and I know that I have to pay my rent, and sometimes I feel like I don't have enough, and I sit there in my present moment like it's so good. Because I'm so good. I do so much good karma. I don't put bad karma out there. I don't. So when you fear is when you put karma, one of the things, you put bad karma, then that's something maybe you should fear. Because it will come back. Everything, the energy we put out is like an echo. And it just bounces back up. What goes around comes around. Right? That's where that comes from. So what are you doing? How do you live your life? What energy do you give out there? What do you put out there? Because that will come back to you. No matter what, sooner or later. Sooner or later is the laws of the universe. We're just little specks in this humongous universe that there is immense, infinite. So when you give good karma, and you know that you give good karma because I'm here to do this because I love you as a human being. I love unconditionally. I got to that point and I want to see everyone thrive together, because otherwise the world, the planet itself, or the earth plane, the earth does not need to be saved. The earth will eat us either way, how many concrete we put and everything, but us, as a human species. We're interconnected. So if I kill somebody right now out of just being vile, then I'm killing myself. If I kill an animal that contributes to the ecosystem, then I kill myself too. Because we need one another. So when you put good karma out there all the time and you live your present moment, there's nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. So I believe that fear originates from false belief systems. That's one of the things. False belief systems and indoctrination. That's one of the things that it comes from. Because you can grow up, for example, right? An example. So here in the West, most people in the West and United States are terrified of snakes. They're like, what, a snake? Why? Because you grew up with this like the Bible story of Adam and Eve, and then the snake is Satan, and then everyone, like I've had people that I've done video, oh, you claim to be so spiritual, you have a snake, that's the Satan. I've had people send me messages saying this ignorance. And I'm thinking this is very cultural and very upbringing, because in the East, in India, they worship, they love the snakes. It's a very strong symbol. It's the symbol of the Kundalini. It's actually the snake that comes up, the energetic force from the root that connects all of our chakras together, and this, transformation. The Kundalini energy. And they have snake charmers. They have those cobra snakes. I want to go there and become a snake charmer with them. I live in India doing that. They have no fear of snakes. To them, they grow up with little kids. You can search it in the internet. Little kids, like around, you know what they do in this little village somewhere in India? They put a baby outdoor. They live in the outdoors. And they put all these cobras around a little newborn baby that had just been born to protect them from predators. And supposedly and I saw it in the video, it wasn't supposedly. The cobras were protecting the baby. They weren't even hurting him. They were not coming around, that it would stay all around and just guarding around so that any other predator would not come. The cobras were just guarding it. Unbelievable, right? Like, you would think, oh my God, those people are crazy, but they grow up like that. So most of the fear that we have is an indoctrination and a belief system. So you grow up with these stories, oh, the snake, and then you grow up in your house, all you remember was cats and dogs, right? You never saw people with snakes, like, hey, here's my snake, my neighbor, oh yeah, look at mine, you have an extra, rodent, So it's not common. And then you see snake, oh my God, that's so weird and nasty. I've had people tell me, like outside when I hike with him, they want to touch, like, oh no, that's like slimy or something. I'm like, slimy? Like, your tongue is slimy. Like, he's dry. Like, it's not slimy at all. And it's just this false belief system, this indoctrination. Because if you were a kid, think about when you're children. I love children. They're so innocent. That's why I'm so playful like a child. Because they just are living in the moment. They have zero fear. Think about how a baby, put a little baby in you and they just like jump down a building easily. Even though they see it like that, they're like, woo! No fear. Fearless completely. Of course, very oblivious and, ignorant because they're still babies. They're just discovering. But, my point is that they have no fear of things. If they see a snake, they want to make friends with them. They'll be like so happy to touch it, right? If I put this like, they're not thinking, oh my God, it's a snake. They would not think of that. So a lot of times we, grew up, maybe our parents like, oh, snakes, be careful, they're very poisonous. They put this fear in you, this indoctrinated fear about a certain, I'm saying Egypt as an example, guys, a lot, because he's part of the conversation today, and not the conversation, he's just joining us today. because I always have Phoenix, and some people have asked me about Egypt, and also because he's just very relatable to this topic, don't you think? Nick, hi. This is he is actually a constrictor, a boa constrictor. So there are several types of pythons. There is the ball python, which are really small and tiny. They're great pets. The best pets are ball pythons because they do not grow very big, 5 foot at the least. And they're so docile and sweet. Then there's reticulated python, which are super gigantic and would swallow any one of us up. And there are Burmese pythons who also grow up to like 20 foot, gigantic, that will swallow us up as well. And I had a pair before I moved to California. I had a pair of 2 albino, beautiful orange and peachy colors with these red eyes and pink tongue. They were massive and huge, and they grew up so big. I actually donated them to the zoo. They wanted to put them in exhibition, so I actually did a good thing because I couldn't come here with those massive creatures, and they were getting to the point where they just want to eat rabbits and more than that, and I wasn't going to feed rabbits. Like, I just did not want to do that. So, this is a boa, okay? He is a red-yellow constrictor boa. So boas grow much bigger than the ball pythons. They're actually pretty big, but they are not giant. So males are smaller than the females. In the snake species, the female is the really massive snake. That is that big face, and she's thick and huge. When you see a really huge one, that you're like, my goodness, that's a female. So the males are smaller, are tiny, smaller faces and skinnier a little bit. So that's why Egypt is small. I mean, he's big, but there's some that has really fat faces. I'm sure you guys seen. He's really small, so look. Say hi to my friends. That's your tribe, people. They love you. Give him a kiss. You've all been kissed by Egypt, my snake. The sacred serpent. Yes, a boa constrictor, Edward. He's a boa constrictor. So I think he's very relevant and very relatable to this topic of fear. So yes, belief systems, and then also insecurities. Fear comes from insecurities, right? When you have an insecurity about something, fear, right? It's just so related with insecurities. Attachments. With attachments comes fear as well. When you're attached to something a lot, for instance, you can be in a relationship, right? This is an example. And you have this fear that the person is going to leave you. That happens sometimes. Oh my God, I'm so scared. And you're always living in fear. Like, it's because first of all, you're in an attachment. Because if you were not attached to that person, like an attachment, you would not feel that fear because there's no fear. Like, you love the person unconditionally and you are not attached. So if the person does leave you, you are okay and content with that and still love the person and wish him well and say, hey, see you on our journey. Maybe we trip again someday. And, be grateful for it and let it go. It should not, not create that fear, because this is the fear. It just destroys. To me, fear is like one of the worst. It's the one thing that destroys. People live in fear all constant moments. And what do you fear? What do you fear? That's the first question that you ask yourself. Because fear, what do you fear? When you ask yourself that, that's when you have to sit with yourself. What are you so afraid of? Like with the snake, an example. What are you so scared? What is it that is so fearful about this creature that I'm holding like this? Is it the look of him? Is it that he looks creepy to you? It's just that he's very strange and unknown to you. a lot of times we fear what we don't know about, the mystery. Most of the time it's that. It's like where confidence comes from. Because you have fear, especially like if you're a performer like me. You fear if you're unprepared, you fear that you're like gonna fuck up on stage, you know, when you're performing. But it's because you have no confidence in yourself. Because if you have confidence to begin with, there is no fear. Because you know you're just going to blow it out of the water. So, sometimes, what is it that you fear exactly? What is it that you're so afraid of? Even if it's not a snake, I'm asking you. What is your fear? Do you have fear? You know what, I used to have a lot of fears years ago. I never noticed this. This was something that just clicked to me, and it was cool in a sense. I was talking a conversation with somebody, this friend of mine. We were having a conversation, and he asked me, he's like, I want to ask you a question. I'm like, what is it? What is your biggest fear? And a lot of people ask this question. What is your biggest fear? Oh yeah, loneliness, Edward. I'm going to talk, loneliness. I did a topic on loneliness. I actually did a video on that. We can talk more about that, not maybe here, but loneliness is because there's a difference between loneliness and solitude. And that's a whole, we're going to discuss the loneliness. If you're fearful of loneliness, it's because you have an attachment. You must have some sort of attachment, because when you love yourself fully and unconditionally, remember we were talking about loving yourself unconditionally, you could become connected to earth, to the animals, and especially when you're outdoors in nature all the time, you won't even feel lonely. You won't. And being in fear a lot of times to me is living in the past or living in the future. It makes you think. You're dwelling on the past, so it's a mind control thing. It takes a charge. It's like that survival mode that we were talking about. That's what the fear is there for. Fear is there, you know, it's like when it's like this. Think of a car, right? And it has turbo shift. Okay, you guys know, like, I drive stick. And you're driving in the traffic. You're going slow, steady, normal. You don't need that turbo shift. Okay? You don't need it. You only need it when you're going up the hill and there's clean road and you're like, oh yeah, this is it. And you hit that turbo, you know what I mean? It's an extra boost. It's just like this thing that's going in the car, empowering it more to go faster than normal, you know? Do its fullest performance. So it can go somewhere like from A to Z, like, you know, in a split second. So, but you're not supposed to do the turbo shift when you're just pacing at a normal speed. It's going to damage the entire engine, the transmission and stuff, right? You can't. It's the same thing with us. You're living with fear all the time when it's not necessary, it's not needed in your system. So it's creating illnesses like stress, depression, anxiety, insomnia. You're thinking of what is so scary. Okay, for example, with the snake, what I was trying to say is, what's the worst that can happen? It can bite you. And then what? Like, what do you fear so much? Loneliness. What's the worst that can happen out of loneliness? That you find yourself? That you have create a relationship with Creator and Mother Earth and the creatures? That's beautiful. Then you'll never be alone. Never. And all the people will come. Of course, we human beings are very social creatures, right? We're more like the canines, like the dogs, like wolves. They live in packs. You know, we warm each other up. We need each other. Okay? We're like felines that just can survive, you know, like a tiger. Tigers are elusive. You don't see them in packs. You see a random beautiful one, you know? And it's very rare. And we're just social creatures. So yes, if you put someone in you can like survive. But isolation is a very dangerous thing. And sometimes I don't know about these jail systems with these poor people in jail. I mean, it's a form of, it's kind of strange in a way because it can make you go insane. Like, I mean, I wish these prison systems would put, you know, people in jail in a little garden at least, you know, so they can have some earth and a little sun. You know, they can put walls. It's just like they put them in this cold wall, no sunlight, nothing, isolated from human beings, from nature, from everything. That will kill a human being. That will come back out worse, right? So, when fear comes up, this is time to introspect. This is the time to do integration and self-questioning. What am I so afraid of? Death is but a doorway to another world. Most people fear death. Most people fear the day that they die. They're living in the future. You're just living in the future. Like, you're just like, oh my God, the day that I die. Oh my God, the day that I die. Oh my God, the day that I die. Every day, you think about this? It's going to come anyway. Like, utilize the time, like, living in the past. Some people, oh my God, like, they just remain in the sadness of the sorrow of the past. Like, what happened, the sadness of a lost one, it's unfortunate. But you have to continue your own life because the world has not stopped yet. And everyone has their journey. And you have to think of you. That's why unconditional love is so important. And I spoke about this yesterday in my video about unconditional love. It's very important. Because that will change your whole, shift your perspective. When you love yourself fully, you will make sure that you're not going to do anything that harms your body, mind, or soul, or spirit. That's just the thing about it. So you know that attachment to things are going to bring you suffering and bring you fear into your life. So then you work on not attaching. Do you know that if you eat certain things like GMOs and, you know, this junk food, it has this poison inside of you that's going to get you unhealthy. And then when you're older, you're going to create these illnesses and these diseases that is going to bring pain in your life. And then you're really going to have a painful death. So then you really fear. So why are you doing it? Why are you choosing to talk to yourself? Why are you into this cognitive dissonance? Like, you don't, like, I'm like, you're like, don't want to hear about it. I want to have fun. I'm having a lot of fun. You know, going out into clubs, like, just hitting every ass you see. Like, really? Like, that's like you're wasting your time, really. Like, what you're supposed to be here, you forget you're on a mission here. Otherwise, some other sperm would have been created into a human being and not you. But it was you who won that race. Therefore, you're on a mission. You're supposed to do something important here. This is important. So you have to self-reflect, specifically you. What is it that you fear exactly? What is it that you fear? First that. What is the worst that can happen? Why do you fear it? Ask yourself that question. Write it in a notebook. Take a pencil and a pen and sit there with yourself. What do I fear? I fear this. Why? Get to the bottom of it. A lot of times, then you'll get to the bottom. Why do I feel the snake so much? What is it? It's kind of cute looking, actually. It's not that bad looking. Okay, so it's small. It's not that big. So why do you fear? Then you get to the bottom of it. Well, I grew up thinking it was so bad. I remembering the story with being Satan, and I remember, like, people, oh my God. So there's the bottom of it. You got to the bottom of it. So it was an indoctrination in that sense. It's a false belief system. So then you change your perspective, right? So what I was saying about my friend, that he asked me the question, what's your worst fear? I really thought of it one time. I was looking for something that I fear. This was recently, guys, so this was a recent question. I was looking for something what do I fear? I started thinking of something, and I came to the conclusion that I didn't fear anything, and I told him, actually, I'm pretty fearless. And he was, wow, like, he was not expecting that answer, and neither did I. He was like, wow, that's an amazing, like, answer. I never expected you, like someone would say. I'm like, well, actually, like, I don't think I really fear anything anymore. Like, I've gotten to a point where I just refuse to let the system feed me this fear, right? Like, just this false belief system, like living in the past. A lot of people too, like, they stay in the past in the fear of what they lost, and the fear that what happened to other people in the past. Like, the moment you live in your moment, if you live in your present time, you're like a child. You're in the moment, whatever you're doing. There's no way that you are in your moment if you're thinking about a fear. So that's when it's false evidence appearing real. That's when it's false evidence appearing real. When you are in fear, think about it. You're thinking about something that has to do with the past or the future. Because it's not happening right in this moment, is it? It's not. There's nothing happening in that moment. Therefore, you are not in your present moment. You're not in your present moment. So we are not in our present moment. We are not living in the moment. And the living in the moment is what's going to keep you young, alive, vivacious, just, amiable and healthy and strong and charismatic and just overall magnetic, right? When you're in the moment, you're like a child in the moment. That's why I like to tell people to dance. And some people have critiqued me because they don't know. Sometimes I start dancing in my video at the beginning, and some people have seen that in the wrong way without knowing me as a person. And wow, who is this person? Like, trying to cause attention. They haven't even saw everything that I talked. Or nothing. They're just judging what I'm trying to. This is not about me. I rather, like, I don't do it now because I'm here with Egypt, but I like to be outdoors and flip it to nature, and you can listen to my voice. It's not about me. This is about you. This is about us. This is about raising the vibrational frequency, consciousness to higher dimensions, higher levels, higher perspectives. Let's go higher and higher. Let's grow our wings, angels. My falling angels. So if we live in the moment, when you live and you think, well, you know what, sometimes people ask me, oh my god, like, there's times where in my past where, oh my god, I've been late to my rent, I feel like I have no like, funds, and people start thinking about it, like, I used to be like that. Oh my god, you're worried all week of, oh my god, I have to bust my ass, I don't know what to do. Like, you're just already anticipating what has not happened yet. So therefore, you're living the future. You're living that moment, and you're actually attracting that negative thought that's bringing the fear. That's what you're doing. You're actually attracting that, because whatever you think of consistently manifests in reality. So when you live in the moment, sometimes I'm like, well, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do, but fuck it. I'm right now here enjoying my time, trying the best I can do. And one exercise that I tried to do, that I used to be like that in the road, and I had road rage, and I had an accident that I died and came back to life before. And I was a very reckless driver, and when this was years ago, guys, but I used to, like, just get through and get upset within the road, and just because, I'm saying, when I was late, if I was late to a place, like, you're running late, that's why you try to be extra early. Just take your time to do things in your life, so that stress and anxiety. Let me give you a tip on how I do, because some people say, how do you do, like, how do I keep such a life so, like, maintain the peace and my pressure, blood pressure, just no fear and living in the moment? I take my sweet time doing everything. And even if I have to wake up extra early, that's why I like to wake up early, especially when I do the hiking at 4:30 a.m. I have plenty time to take my time doing things, because if you just oversleep and then you're up late and you're like, oh my god, and then now you're rushing, stress happens, you get anxiety, and then you're like, bam, in panic, fear again, survivalism, oh my god, I'm gonna be late, this and that. Like, just take your time and sweet time, you're never going to have that problem. And if you're late, you're fucking late. Because I learned that you can get into a car accident and then really, really, really not make it. And that's not a way that you don't want to make it. So it's better to be safe than sorry. So, and my father tells me that a lot. He's like, what's the point of driving so fast? It's like, if it's traffic, there's nothing you can do anyway. You're going to be late either way. So just don't stress it. And it's true. You're like, you know what? And when you maintain that positive energy, listen to something positive, so a very inspirational person. In the meantime, you notice, like, this is my experience. I noticed that everything always turned to the good. Everything turned okay. Like, sorry, guys. Everything was fine at the end. Like, sometimes when I go there all late, they're like, oh my god, we're running so late, we haven't started yet. I'm like, wow. Like, it just went in your favor. When you're in good karma with the universe will take care of you. Listen, God, creator, whatever you want to call, and the earth, the universe, when you are in tune with this divine universe, organically, at an organic level, because we're organic creatures, and the earth is organic, and the animal kingdom is organic, and the plants are organic. It is all organic. It's nothing that is made in some lab. Okay? It's not artificial. So we must interconnect with that. When you interconnect with that, the universe takes care of you. When you take care of it, it takes care of you. So, are you living in your present moment at every time? Hi, Alicia. Amen. Thank you. Yes, Mary, thank you. Internal stress syndrome, Edwards. Thank you, Harry. Thank you. Or Mary. Sorry, Mary. Internal stress syndrome. That comes from fear, Edward. Straight up from fear. What are you stressed about, really? Think about that. What is so stressful? Sometimes you have to think that it can be worse than that. You know that suffering. We talked about suffering before. It's a challenge. This is a test. You guys are not seeing. We're here in this world. We came here to be tested, to see who are the chosen ones. We're all falling angels. Yes, we're here to grow our wings and to ascend and become the light worker healers that we are. But is everyone going to do it? That's the question. Not everyone. Fear is weakness. It's low self-esteem. Really. Because when you have self-esteem and confidence in that everything is going to be okay for you, there's nothing to be fearful about. So fear comes from a very internal low self-esteem deep down in there that was encrusted in your heart at some point in your life. So you must try to dig deep into the root of your fear. Introspect. Introspection is important work to the spirit. Very important work to do to the spirit. We must not just clean our physical bodies and just take care of the physical. The mind and the spirit, there's a health to that too. And fear, my friend, will kill your spirit and your soul. It will. Fear is keeping you from ascending and transforming into the being that you're meant to be. Fear is keeping you in the past. It's keeping you in the present. It's keeping you away from living your present moment. You're forgetting to enjoy your life. Because this second right now, in this moment, you're looking at me. This is your moment right now, your life. And it's always going to be like that. In 3 minutes, it's still going to be your moment. In 5 minutes, it's still going to be in the moment. And you're still going to be enjoying that moment. Whatever the fuck is it that you're doing in that moment. Right? No matter what it is. It doesn't matter. You're going to make the best of it. You're going to give good energy because it's going to come back to you. And you know the universe will take care of you. There's nothing to fear. Nothing. Let me see. I have here a little notebook of things that I wrote down that I wanted to bring up. So, yes. So, how are things that we can do I have this beautiful incense. I'm going to light this up. I have a strong olfactory system, and I do aromatherapy to myself with this incense, and it's a little ritual that I have for myself. We're going to now discuss things that we can do to overcome fear. So, things we can do to overcome fear. If the fear comes from a false belief system, from an indoctrination, then you must deprogram yourself. Okay? And for instance, you have fear of snakes. That's a terrifying fear. What happened? Why are you so fear? We're going to do introspect. This is the steps. Write this down. Write this down. If you have a fear, write this down. We're going to give you an exercise. Go get a little notebook and pad. You're going to ask yourself these questions. Okay? What do you fear? Really? You put down what you fear next to it. Why do you fear it? Exactly. Write down what is it that you exactly fear. So if it's the snake, I just fear the face. It looks like a T-Rex. Look at this, like a dinosaur. Some alien creature. It looks just weird. Or maybe, I don't know, like their skin looks weird. Or maybe I fear that they don't have no legs and they just can choke me. Or I don't know, like it's whatever. You ask that. And then you ask yourself, why? Why? You write down why. Whatever you think. Whatever comes to your head first, is that your intuition. That is your intuition. The first thought in your head always that pops, your first gut, that is your intuition. Listen to it. Listen to your intuition. Your intuition always knows better. You have your higher self there to back you up. Your ego, you need to put him in check. Your ego is dumb. He's there to survive. He's like an athlete with no brain. That's the ego. So your higher self is your geek in there. You want to listen to this geek. He's the one riding. He's the pilot. Okay, so you have your athlete and your pilot. Okay, when you're trying to navigate, who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to the athlete or the pilot? The pilot is the one, right? He's the one flying the plane, the aircraft. So the athlete is there to just for strength purposes, you know, to lift things heavy. It has his place. So think about that. Maybe you can think about these things like that. Call it like that. Give it a label. There's times for labeling. That's when you want to label, when you want to heal. There's times when you don't want to label things. I don't like labels. I don't even like calling myself like some healer, or I'm just a human being. Okay? Living in this physical body right now. In this physical plane. With all you physical beings. Because even if you are in some other place, you're in Japan, you're I don't know, some other country, and the other way of the world, you're in Argentina, you're in Dubai, you could be in Australia, where are you from? We're still connected right here, right now. So we're physical beings, so your higher self right here. Do you see that? You always see me with something, right? With my bindi. My third eye activated. I get this information from from the meditation, from the grounding, from the sun gazing, from the moon gazing, from the star gazing, from the fire gazing, from just taking care of my body, from fasting, going out without food, without water if I have to, see what happens. These things, you know, a good thing to do is do things that, if you are fearful of a snake, is that your fear? After you've answered those questions and you've gotten to the root of it. Okay, so this is what I fear, this is why. I'm terrified of snakes. Why? Because when I was a little boy, I was told that they're evil and that they will, you know, choke me to death. That's what it is. You write it down. So you want to overcome fear. Anything that it is. I don't care what it is. You don't want to fear anything. Nothing. Not even the devil that comes right now I will fear. I'll slay his throat with my archangel sword. I will. Fearless. 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 Completely. And if they kill me, fuck it. There's nothing that can happen, really. It's the worst that can happen. And if it happens, then it happens. It will happen. Maybe it'll happen so fast you won't even feel anything. You were suffering this fear this whole time alone. So, what's the first thing you do when you fear a snake? Get a snake. Find someone who has a snake. Tell them, can we meet? I want to have that snake around my neck. I want to touch it. I want to feel it. I want to overcome this fear. That's what you do. You get that snake and you're like, you put it around your neck where you think it can choke you. And if you start fearing with that snake around your neck, it's going to choke you. Because animals, they sense fear. They're very intuitive, much more than us. They live in the moment. They're not worried about past and future. That's why they survive. They live in the moment every time. And their intuition is so sharp compared to ours. You're in fear, you can pretend all day. They smell that in the air, okay? And it will choke you. So you go with that in mind. It's just like when you go with fear in one of these psychedelic, perhaps one of these psychedelic ceremonies, like ayahuasca, for instance. Some people go there with fear. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? You're going to see demons and all sorts of terrible things, and then you're going to have this pain because you're resisting it because of fear, and you're going to have a bad moment and a bad trip. Yes. Open yourself up and least resistance. Have no fear of anything. Of nothing. I remember I saw this beautiful article, like it was like the news. This was, maybe you guys saw it, but I think it was last year for something in some country. These people were doing some sort of protest because they were, I don't know if it was one of these companies that are just doing pipes, or just they were doing something terrible that they do in the world. And there was all these people, just these activists that were getting together and protesting, but they caught this beautiful image of this woman. And they were all getting arrested. There comes this big cops with all their gear, all like very intimidating, and people running off. And there was this one woman who just stood like that with her arms like this. And the wind was blowing on her when they took the shot. Like she was just, and they had to put it it became viral because it was so beautiful. Like the no fear. She had no fear, no resistance. She didn't resist and they didn't attack her at all. They were knocking people down, running. And she went like that, and they just came to her, and she put her back, and she was just closing her eyes, letting it be. And that showed so much. Because when you're like that resistant, what is the word? They're going to catch you anyway. So if you start fighting off, you might get more hurt. And this is a metaphor right here. This is a metaphor. So the worst that can happen when you resist, you know that's going to bring more pain even into the equation. So I know it's hard, but we must learn to let go, to tell the ego to relax, you know, to be in the moment, live in your moment. Don't worry about it. Give good karma out there. Mary, it is in the human nature, because at the beginning of this video, I explained that fear has its purpose. Fear has its purpose. We need fear. It's for survivalism. That's what it is. Fear is there for survival mode. Okay? If you live in a war zone, and that's very unfortunate, that you have to, like, you're sleeping in the middle of the night and they kick your door out and people have, like, weapons and machine guns, you are going to get up. Your adrenaline is going to kick in. Your fear is going to wake the fuck up, going to drag you. You don't know where you get this strength from. You become more stronger and faster than if you're actually running and jumping. The adrenaline, people have jumped fences and crawled the walls. I remember when I don't know how old I was. I must have been 11 years old, a child. In my island in Puerto Rico, me and my cousin in the country, we were being foolish and decided to go and jump this fence, get close to this big bull. And he was scary and creepy, and I was a child, I was fearless. And then I respected it afterwards. But he chased me down. And I was little, and this creature was huge and pissed off. Like, he came at me, and he was running fast. I don't know how, because I ran like a bullet, and there was these spike fences, the wire bar that they have in the country. There were 3 very tall ones, and I was just a little girl. I don't know how, but I jumped that, like jumped the whole thing without hurting myself, and jumped it and fell to the other side, and that bull went like that against the wire. And even my cousin was like, what? Like, you were a superhero, she says. And my heart was just popping out of my I said, I thought I was gonna die. I thought I just could see that bull piercing my ribs and just destroying me. And it was adrenaline that rushes into the body immediately. And it just gives you that extra fuel. It's like turbo. Remember, I was just explaining the turbo. And it just, you can do some things. Okay, there was a mother, I thought, that her baby, that people have, like, carried very heavy things to save people. It's happened in earthquakes, I believe. There was a family member who was stuck in a big concrete and no one could have picked up, and someone was like, the family member picked it up and threw it and saved him. They didn't know where they got the strength. It's the adrenaline, it's fear. Your fear that you're going to lose that person. Okay? You have fear of what's going to happen. So it's a survival mode. That's what's there for, but it's not for you to live in fear every day. It has its place. It's at its place. It's going to get you sick and get you in an insanity mode. So fear has its purpose. So if you're fearing anything to do with faster future, then because the fear is pretty in the present. When fear is supposed to kick in, it's so in the present moment. It's in the present moment. So think about just that. It's in the present moment. If you don't have, fear doesn't kick in when you're in a survival situation, then it's just fear what saves your life. It's a present moment thing. So why do we have fear in the past? Why do we have fear of the future, of being alone? Or why do we have fear of dying? That's like, who knows how long you can last. You're killing yourself by thinking about it so much. You're going to attract it. Oh, well, I have to die. Because the mind doesn't know any better. Because what you put in your mind and in your present moment, well, the universe has to attract. A law of attraction. So if you're thinking so much, oh my God, I'm fearful of dying, you're going to just attract some death or something. So just be careless and just try to just say, you know what, I'm going to leave it to the universe. I think the universe is going to take care of me. I'm okay. I used to be a lot live in fear a lot due to indoctrinations and the above. And it had me in this very, also in anger and stress all the time. And I was never happy. Like, I started, you know what? 0 fucks to give. Now I live my life like I don't give a fuck. Really. Like, whatever, because I'm not Thank you, Mary. Yeah, so that's what it is, Mary. So fear, not that fear is something bad. When people talk about fear, oh, and they say that about anger too. I'm not sure if I've done a topic on anger, but I'm going to do one on anger. Because there's this reputation that anger is bad and you can't feel it, and it's not true. Anger is great. It's a good detector, letting you know that there's something you need to get out of you. That's what anger is. You have an old resentment inside of you, something that you have not let go. It's a sign of telling you, I gotta come out and you gotta let it out. That's a whole different topic. So be careful with this indoctrination things that people say. So fear is there. Yeah, just like the ego. The ego goes along with the fear. They both go together. Okay? They belong in the lower chakra, in the root chakra. That's where they belong. You must not let it come up here to control this here. This is for the higher self, your third eye, your pineal gland, your pituitary, to take charge, because this is the higher intelligence. This is your pilot. This is your pilot. Nothing to do with the ego. They do not get along at all. Okay? They don't get along at all. So they both have their purpose. They both have their purpose. Okay? So you see, like I was saying before, you see the ego as this bodybuilder, right? He's really strong, but I'm not saying to any bodybuilders, because there's very intelligent people out there that do bodybuilding. It's an example of a particular bodybuilder who just not smart. He's just very strong. He's there to like lift you up and move you. So if something happens in your system, within your whole etherical like space, ego, fear. Oh, here's fear. Let's inject you with some fear. Adrenaline. Get the fuck out of here. Let's save our life. That's what it's for. But when it comes to your daily life and your daily choices and life of what you do, which are in your work, in your relationships to the world, and so in the social life, and in your daily life when you're relaxing, that is no place for the bodybuilder. He's down there doing his work. You got this other person. You got these two people, right? And this got this pilot that navigates your entire, like, he's just the one flying above and seeing everything. It's like the aircraft. It's like the Air Force. So you're gonna trust the Air Force, right? Because they're up there looking at everything. They know. They know. So you want to be guided by that. So you keep that separate. When you feel yourself in fear again, give it a label, a name. That's when you label. That's what I was saying before. You can label, okay, I'm going to call my fear, give it a name, Ego. I call it ego, specifically, right? And then my higher self. So I'm like, no, ego, don't try to be involved in this conversation. Go to sleep. There's nothing to be surviving around right now. Like, you'd consult your higher self for this. Your higher self will tell you, you're fine, you're in the present moment. Pay attention to what you're doing in the moment. Those conversations that you have with people, a lot of people just talk, and they don't fucking listen to you. I can't stand that. Then you ask them a question sometimes, and they answer, yeah, didn't make any sense. Like, you're thinking about other things. Practice being in the present moment for everything in your life, and it's going to help you maintain yourself there. Some people are thinking of things while you're in the middle of a conversation, and we vibe that shit. People vibe that. It comes across. And it comes across very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. So, try to always be in the present moment with a person. If you don't have time to talk, and you don't want, just say it. Be honest. It's another thing. It's just to, like, it's courage. So, things that we can do. If you fear snakes, what do? You put that snake around you. Okay, I had this friend of mine. I'm going to tell you a little story of this person who released this fear for snakes. And this is when I was an actress. We were shooting something, and I was in a scene. There was this guy who was supposed to be in the scene. He just got hired. I was a character, but there was a snake that was supposed to be choking this character. And the character, the guy, was actually terrified of snakes. And, the producer called me. He's like, hey, we have this situation. And talk to him. I said, well, let's get together in the house with the snake. And he's like coming in like this already. I said, hi, relax, sit down, the snake is over here, I'm going to show him to you. He's like, there's no way. I said, well, he's supposed to be choking you, so how are we going to do this? And he's like, I can't, snakes fucking terrify me. I've never touched one in my life, and I don't want to. He felt very uncomfortable, like we're trying to convince him. And I told him, you know, I was like, I take Egypt out. And I started going like this, and I'm like, kissing him. And he's like this, with his eyes this big. And I'm like, look at my baby, look. And I'm kissing him. I was like, he's so sweet. He loves people. I'm like, look at him, he's so sweet. And I was telling the other people, touch him, and they were touching him. I was like, come here, just touch his skin. And he was like, I said, just touch his skin. And he touched like this. Like that first. I said, you see, oh, he's like, oh wow, it feels really soft. I'm like, I know, right? And then little by little, he's like that, and we're here just talking about other topics, conversation, while he's trying to bond. That was the whole purpose of the meeting. And then I'm like, I little by little just put him in, I just went like this and put it on his shoulder. And he's like, I said, relax, because I told him, relax, or he's going to bite you. If you fear him, he's gonna scent it. He was like, he even panicked more, and I said, calm down. And he's like, I said, look, he's doing great. And the whole process took like an hour. We were there like an hour just chatting and talking. In the end, I have pictures of this actually. He didn't even notice that he was talking to us and holding Egypt like this. And then at one point, I swear, this was so true, I caught him. And he went like this and went and kissed him. And we all started laughing. And when we laughed, he realized what he did. He's like, oh my God, I just kissed his snake. And I was laughing. I said, okay, give me back Egypt. He's like, no, I love Egypt. It was amazing. So he loved Egypt from there. He's like, I love Egypt. And I'm like, well, see, now you left and now you love snakes. And he used to be terrified. So this could be applied to anything else. So some people are scared of, they have fear of water, of drowning. And maybe it's because you can't swim. Sometimes people are like, well, I don't know how to swim. And I'm afraid, or maybe, you know, something happened. Someone drowned in their family, or they just got that fear from the past, what happened. Or they're afraid that they could drown. Why? Why do you think that you can drown? What happened? Maybe something did happen, and say, okay, well, that happened to that person. Why does it have to happen to you necessarily? Like, maybe not. People swim all the time. Like, I guess they do. Right? So, get into the ocean. Go into the deep water. Get in there. Face your fears, like, head on. Just do it. Don't think about it. Right? If you can't swim, take swimming lessons. Doesn't matter. Have someone, hey, I want to take some swimming lessons. I want to be able to swim in the deep. I want to be unafraid of water. Maybe you were afraid of the dark. Some people are afraid of the dark. Why? Why are you so afraid of the dark? Maybe your mother, your parents, when you were a little baby, they let you sleep with the light on all night because they were themselves scared. Like, oh, and the baby was scared, so they developed that like habit of the light, and you were just growing up and you always have the light, so you're like, well, I always have a light. I feel weird without the dark now because I don't know what's there. It's all because you don't know what's there. It's a perspective that you don't understand. That's what fear is. You only fear it because you don't know what's going to happen. But once you realize that nothing really could happen, then you're like, oh, okay. Like, you're afraid of the dark? Sit in the fucking dark. Get in a closet. Put the alarm. Do it for 1 hour. Let's see if you can do that. And get in the closet and sit there by yourself. No one in your place. No one. And sit there in the dark. In a pitch black dark. And you know you're alone. And let the alarm wake you up from that. Experience that. What's the worst that can happen? Some ghost gonna come. Ooh, there's nothing that's gonna happen. Maybe you can take that time. All of a sudden you might dive deep in. And you're like, whoa. You might be into this meditative mode all of a sudden. And you might just realize things, and you're like, wow, you let that shit go. You let that go. Face on. Face whatever it is that you fear. That's a great way to overcome your fear. Just face it. Go skydiving. You know, I have not done skydiving yet, and I do a lot of fun stuff. And skydiving has been on my bucket list for years. And every time I'm about to do it, there's something else I have to do and I haven't. And I'm doing that. I'm doing that. And I have not done it. And I am fearless already. But I have heard that people who have fears, I have heard by others, that when you go skydiving, it makes you fearless out of the blue. At least I've spoken to 2 or 3 people who have said, yeah, it made me feel so fearless after, like, I boosted my confidence, because you're jumping out of a fucking plane. If you have the guts to do that, because you're like, wow, like, you can't even think about that something's gonna come up, you just think you're gonna die either way, right? Because you're like, what's the worst that can happen? It can probably not pop out, and then I can really die, right? That's the worst that can happen. But why do you necessarily have to stop yourself and just not take the risk? If you're in good karma, you know that will pop out. You know it will. You know it will. You know when the universe got you, you know it. But when you have bad karma, you might really think, oh, it might pop open up on me. I don't know. Something. It could happen, right? But so what? You're living the moment. And if you're happy in the moment and excited about life and thrilled that you're going to have a blast because you are in your present moment in joy, there's nothing that's going to happen, because that's the energy frequency that is present in your present moment. Therefore, there's no room for something negative to happen. There's nothing that's going to happen. The fear is what actually makes that a reality. You can attract it. So, go camping in the woods. What are you feel? Are you fearful to be alone? Are you fearful of the animals in the world? Some people are just creeped out about just animals in general, even bugs. Like, you scared of bugs? I had a person who, oh my god, like a dragonfly. I was like trying to catch the dragonfly, and this woman was like looking at it, and she's like, they're insects too. I'm like, bitch, like what? She's like that, like they're insects too. I'm like, what are you trying to say? Like, the insects have such a great purpose in the world, and a reason. They have their own, we coexist with it, like the bees, right? Like, we would die without the bee pollen. So people get like that, but why are you so scared? Like, I was here touching and thinking it's so magical, and it's when you're connected like that, you give good karma and you live in the moment. There's nothing to fear. Nothing's going to happen. What's the worst that can happen? That, your results don't maybe you think you want to be a specific thing, but then you're scared that doesn't come. But maybe that's not your true destiny. Maybe the universe has something in store for you. So the moment you detach to that idea of that's what you want for yourself, that's the ego telling you, no. Surrender. Just go with the flow of the universe, It's like when you fall down a river stream, like, you're just like, if you start going crazy, you're going to get hit. But maybe you can just close your eyes, go back, and just let the river just, you're like, fuck it. If I get hit by a big rock, hopefully it just kills me instantly, and I don't feel it. Sometimes it will save you. They say that some of the drunk people who have had terrible car accidents, which I don't I condemn driving under influence, by the way, but some people have saved their lives because they were so out of it that they just went within the accident. But sometimes when you put that, it can create more injury. So what else? Confront your fear. Find out what it is. Ask yourself, what is the fear? Write them all down if it's more than one. Go one by one. Why do you fear it? Write it down. Where is it coming from? Is it indoctrination? Is it a false belief system? Is it in the past or is it in the future? Write that down too. That's important. Are you drawing in the past? Something that happened in the past, or something that you think might happen? All high vibration creates light that we are creating. Light. Fear is the opposite of love. And live and love. That's beautiful, Ryan. Yeah, because the state of love, unconditional love, right? Because I speak about unconditional love. It's not just love when I talk about love. It's unconditional love. Two different things. Completely. Right? We talked about that already. If you haven't seen that, you can see that. We can talk about it another time. I did a video on that yesterday. On unconditional love. When you're in unconditional love state, you're never on fear. You're living in the moment, you're happy, you know that love comes to you, you give it out, it comes, it goes. There's nothing to fear, there's nothing but love. Nothing but love, it's true, I'm glad, thank you for mentioning that. Yes, Mary, let's love. Let's love unconditionally, people. There's no fear, live in your moment, right here, right now. This is your time, every second of your life. Don't worry, it's nothing bad's gonna happen. Your death is going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful and pain-free. Take care of your body now. Look into this stuff. Because when you love yourself unconditionally, you do not want to harm your body, mind, or spirit. What you consume in your temple, in your body, what do you consume? Are you putting chemicals, GMO, vaccinations with that bring diseases and illnesses? What do you put? Are you sleeping around with a bunch of people, different kind of sharing energies and sharing bacteria, and you can get some STD? What are you doing? What are you watching? What is your mind consuming? Are you just watching some bullshit like TV shows that's just keeping you on your couch for hours upon end, wasting your precious time? That you can be creating something fascinating because you are creative. Don't get distracted. There's distraction out there putting fucking fear on us. This whole system, that's why I don't fucking vote. I don't vote for anybody. I don't participate in that bullshit. Because they're all corrupted. And I don't want to be responsible of some bullshit that happens because I voted. I don't believe in any of them. Because if you're true, there's no such governor. No one governs anybody. We're our own gods and goddesses. We govern our own selves. We live in harmony with each other and respect, full respect, and loving unconditionally. There's no reason to step on no one's toes. There's no reason to want to take and steal from another. There's no reason to be jealous and envious of others because you're unique in your own way. You're made perfectly the way you were to do exactly the task that you're here to do. Yeah. We govern our own minds. So what we do, we detach from this bullshit. They put it out there, all these shows. What are you watching? Are you watching, some people watching pornography. You know what pornography is out there for? People know what pornography is made to do? It's the worst addiction of all. It's one of the worst. It's there to damage the children, the future already. So the kids are 5 years old and 10 just surfing the internet and accidentally cross into one. And then they become just completely damaged, minded, violated completely. And now they become attached and addicted to this filth that is draining their poor little energies. Now they become stupid people, moronic, vacuous individuals from doing it for years and years because you gotta go back at it. You have no human connection now. Because you're depleting yourself to a screen. Okay? These fucking shows of gossip, they watch these shows like with these narcissistic, materialistic people. Like those people are getting rich out of you and they don't give 3 fucks about you. Do you see how they are? Are they helping the world? Are they really doing it, or is this a facade? Is there little shows that they come up like, oh, they're doing some sort of charity? Is it real? Is it a real charity? Or is it something for you to believe? So you continue to follow them. and making them so fucking rich. And they're not doing anything? Are you kidding me? If I had all the money in the world, there would be I would have this special school already built, done. Huge school. And I will not charge all that money. I would have all the children just come and get real education. Wisdom education. I would have retreats everywhere. People healing left and right around the entire face of the earth. Are they doing that? Are you giving your time, your likes, your energy, buying the clicks and the information of these people who are becoming rich and they're not doing anything but buying themselves Gucci bags, Louis Vuitton shoes, driving around in these Lamborghinis? Are you serious? I would never buy myself a fucking Lamborghini. Are you kidding me? For all that money, you know, all the help I can do? You know, that's the test right there. So you have to see, who are you looking up to? Who are you getting energy from, really? That's what you feed in your mind. And all these things create fear, creates jealousy, creates insecurity, because now you feel insecure, because now you feel inferior, because you think this person you're worshiping, this false idol, you think they're better than you because they have all this money. Oh my god, they're so pretty, and they're fake. Take that skin out, rip it off, and open their chest open, see how is the inside. They have a black fucking heart. I wish we can all see human beings like spirits and souls. And not so much pay attention to the physicality. So, learn to read people's soul. See them inside. Surpass the physicality. See how they really are. See if they're a benevolent human being. Are they driven by goodness, or are they driven by greed, vanity? You don't want that kind of energy and vibe. So surround yourself with your tribe. Let's all get together as a collective and share this information. So one day, like, we can actually step up. Finally, humanity will step up and say, enough is enough. We can all live in harmony without fear, without greed, without war. Just pure love. So, fear is a lack of courage and confidence. You're a coward in fear. There's no courage. And people hide it, and it's okay to have fear. Don't be afraid to say it, because you need to say these things so that you can overcome them. Some people want to pretend they don't have certain fear. Yeah, write your fucking fears down, all of them. You're going to overcome it. We're overcoming this together. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I feel like my fear wants to kick in. It happens to me. And then I'm like, oh, here I am. I feel it, so I try to calm down. I have to go hiking. I have to go ground myself, because I'm starting with this fear. And, you know, and surround yourself with people like, you know, you're like kindred beings, because they will remind you the powerful person you are. They will remind you, and the fear will go away. So, we have to boost our solar plexus. Our solar plexus chakra, which is right on the navel area. We know that chakra now, right? The Hatha chakra. Because the Hatha chakra and the solar plexus chakra are solar energy, and it's the seat of our being. It's responsible for courage. That's where the courage comes from. That's where supreme confidence comes from. It comes from if you really think about it, when you feel fear, think about this. When you feel fear, Where do you feel it in your body? Do that exercise. Sit down there with the fear. It's going to feel in the belly. You remember when you're like scared of something, you're like, oh my god, I feel like my belly, I feel like I'm nausea. It's like this little butterflies, right? It's like butterflies. That is this your fear. Fear is kicking in. Your solar plexus is in unease. It feels tension because that's what that chakra is responsible for. So the way we can overcome is, if you're indoctrinated, go deprogram yourself, okay? If you know there's shows that TV things, like, start eating a little healthier. Be more cautious about what you put in your body, because once you start cleaning your body and your mind from what you watch, eliminate this filth out of your, don't only just clean your home, clean your body either, clean your mind and clean your spirit. That needs cleansing too. How do you clean your mind? What are you looking at? Stop looking at things that are provoking so much fear. Like, are you watching so many horror movies? Are you watching things that are constantly like putting fear in you? Are you going to bed like in a horror story? Are you watching bad news about people getting killed and you're like, that's the last thing you put in your mind before you went to bed? Because the last thing you think of, that's what you're going to be dreaming about, and you're going to bring that into your reality. So eliminate these things. Start watching things that make you happy and that make you feel positive. Inspirational videos, you know, positive things. I love to watch things about animal and Discovery Channel, because history, you know, because you learn things and it keeps you like, it just away from this fearful type of vibe. You know, and when you clean your body, it helps you decalcify your pineal gland. So you're more aware and cautious about things. You know, you can control your ego this time now. Because you're not weak, you're empowered, like, relax, ego. I'm aware, I know what's happening, and you're trying to step in. And this is not your job. Just step in right now. So, that's one exercise. Confront your fear. If it's an animal, confront it. Get one and be around it. You're fearful of a bug? Like a freaking, like, touch one. Grab a freaking cricket. And just look at it and be there with it. And just laugh and just overcome it. Like, oh, it's nothing wrong, nothing happened. It's kind of, you know, even if it pokes you a little bit, who cares, right? We're here to get some scars. Experience in life. You fell when you were little. You're not going to get into a bike and ride. Kids don't care. They want to ride a bike. They hop on it without knowing how to. We did it as children. Didn't we as children just hop on that bike and we couldn't wait? We could have fallen, and we did fall. And we hurt ourselves many times. Kids are never, they live in the moment. They're never in fear. They don't care. They're like, ah! You cry, right? Because it's hurting in the moment, you wipe it off. Okay, I'm fine. You back on the bike. You're not going to just like, I'm not touching bikes ever in my life. Why not? That was just one experience. Don't judge that experience and bring it into your present moment. Then 10 years pass and you're still like, oh my god, I remember 10 years ago I had a horrible car accident. I'm never going to drive again. Like, wow. You know, grow from it. It was just an experience for you to surpass, not for you to just give up on it. So, go skydiving, go camping in the woods on your own. Do something crazy like that. You know, to see if you can just confront your fears, your real fear. What is your real fear? And confront it. Whatever it is, confront it, do it, go dive on it. Remember, you have to be in the present moment. So, I'm going to give you a little tips on empowering your solar plexus. Exercises that you can do when you're feeling a little fearful, you want to meditate and focus on your solar plexus chakra, okay? Your chakra on your navel is the solar masculine energy, because the masculine energy is the protective energy. The feminine energy is the nurturer type of energy. So the masculine is for protection, is courageous, is strong, is strength. The father, right? The man. Woman is there to nurture, to bring wisdom and love, companionship, the comforter, the mother. So you connect with your solar. So go out in some case. Actually, try to watch the sunset or the sunrise and focus on the sun. Let that energy in your solar plexus. If you can be home, you can meditate and focus on your solar plexus. Yellow. The color yellow is the color that resonates with the solar plexus. It's yellow like the sun. So maybe you want to boost a little bit your solar plexus. So add some yellows into your food diet. Because it is. It's called color therapy. It exists. There's color therapy too. So implement some yellow in your life. Start wearing some yellow shirts. It's very alive. It gives you courage. And it's like, look at someone with yellow. You're always like, wow, it's empowering. Get a yellow candle. Light up yellow candle and work with yellow candle. For the purpose and the intention, and put the intention, my intention, here's the candle for you. This is for you. To empower your solar plexus. So that you can overcome all the fears in your life. Because I want you to know that there's nothing to fear. Nothing. There's nothing that's going to happen. Nothing. You'll be fine. It's going to be okay. It will work out. Just do good. Put good karma out there. Put good karma in everything you do, and I promise the universe has your back. So my intention is that you overcome all your fears. And you empower yourself as a human being. And to boost your solar plexus. To your highest and greatest good. As above, so below. Through time and space, whenever you're watching this. May all your fears burn away today, in this day. Burn them all away. Free from fear. Know that fear is safe. That you are safe. That there is nothing to fear. Nothing. This is synchronicity moment. If you are looking at this right now, this is for you. My message to you, there's nothing to fear. I'm going to show you the best gemstone to work with for courage. If you want to empower your courage, your solar plexus, your self-esteem, and want to use it as a tool into overcoming fear, if you don't have one, get yourself a tiger's eye stone. Here's the energy of a tiger eye. It's a tiger's eye. I send you this energy to help boost your confidence, your self-esteem, and that it eats up your fears. You're so welcome, Mary. It's my pleasure. Tiger's Eye. This is an amazing gemstone for boosting your courage, your self-esteem. It's grounding. It's also a very grounding stone, which keeps you rooted and brings you strength. And at the same time, see with the gold yellow, it empowers your solar plexus. And it's very protective as well. Very protective. So you can feel protected by the energy. This is a good one to have around you. If you feel too much fear, get you a tiger's eye. This is a big one. And yes, guys, this is a yoni one. If you know what yoni egg is. But I do not use it for that. Don't think wrong. I actually use it for my healing. As a pendulum. And to empower. Let's see how, look at this, guys. I'm not moving. I'm using it as a pendulum. Because if you see, I know this is backwards, but it's going counterclockwise. And this is my left hand. From the camera it looks opposite, but this is my left hand. And we know that left goes counterclockwise, right? This is how energy works. So, and if I do it on my right, it's going to go right. Look, I'm not doing anything. It'll just grab and attach to my energy. The vortex, my chakra, and my palm. There it is, it's going clock. Now it's going clockwise, see? Clockwise, because the right goes clockwise. Your right hemisphere. The logic. This is a good stone, so I just want to share that with you. And whoever asked, someone asked me what was my snake's name. Is Egypt. This is Egypt once again, and he has his own Facebook page. Please like him, Egypt Drago. You'll see him there on my page. His name is Egypt Drago. He's my Egyptian dragon. He runs away from me. Be good, baby. I bite him. So anyways, guys, yeah, this is Egypt. I hope that you guys really, that helped, this information. See you again soon, Marie. Thank you so much for logging in. Say bye-bye to Egypt. Yeah, Egypt is his name. No, I know. He's more like a special dragon, like a water dragon. He's like a water dragon. Water dragons don't have any wings, any legs either. So he's my little water dragon. Hi, Dayan. Thank you for joining in, Egypt and I, in this topic about fear. I really hope that this has helped in some way, and if it does and you liked what I had to say and it has helped you, please shoot me a comment and let me know. I really appreciate that I like to know when I make an impact in someone's life. It just makes me happy. So let me know that you did like it, because I'm doing these things for you because you're all requesting me to keep doing my videos. I keep getting messages, oh, you're so motivating and everything has helped, so keep doing them. And I'm like, okay, I'm just, doing it for you. So, living in the moment. Remember, face your fears, write it down. Live your moment. Light up a yellow candle. Use yellow until you feel a little more confidence. Get you a tiger's eye and meditate with it on your solar plexus. And do something fearless. Like, I don't know, go out and go skydiving or grab a snake. You know, I've grabbed snakes. I did in front of Matthew. A wild snake we were hiking, and I pulled it from the tail. Matthew's like, you're crazy. I'm like, when he said you're crazy, I almost let him go in the moment. Like, it made me be fearful in the moment. I'm like, oh my God, going to bite me, it's poisonous. I didn't know if it was poisonous. I wish I could have caught the whole thing. It's okay. Eddie, you can replay it. I won't delete it. I'll leave it there so you can watch this whole video. So when we're done here, just play the beginning. Whatever you missed, just replay it. It will be there on my page. I'm good on fear, but I enjoyed your take on it too, though. Thank you so much. You cracked me up with your comments. I swear, I was laughing my ass off yesterday with the things you say. So thank you for the laughs. I love you all so much. Until next wisdom video. Goodbye, fear. Goodbye, fear. Goodbye, fear. Goodbye. There's no room for fear for you.